Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Half Past Dead Paranormal Radio, the Paranormal and Strange. We are here live on WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York. I'm your host, Roger Belt, and my partner host is Mr. Hank Stratton. Say hello, Hank.
Ho, ho, ho. I was waiting for you to do the Santa Claus thing.
I wasn't going to pick on you tonight. And I got to do something here. There we
Long
go.
time no here, bud.
Yeah, glad you're doing better. And now I'm getting a wee bit of the touch, but I think we'll make it through this thing all right.
Oh, good Lord. I was talking with Toby, and he told me, earlier in the day, I had such a beautiful singing voice.
Toby,
Yes, good evening.
don't build him up like that.
Hey, all I said is he could go to Nashville to the opera and sing and win a Grammy the next night.
Opera? Is the opera in Nashville? I thought they did country music up there.
Well, yeah, you know.
Well, it's called the Grand Ole Opry.
I love it.
You know, and then I was thinking of the Opera House in Sydney, Australia.
With John Elton, with Elton John opening for Hank.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
1,000 comedians out of work.
Yeah, we'd have to have Sir Elton John and Sir Paul McCartney open for you, you know. But
let's get on with the bloody show. Hey.
Hello, everybody. I hope y'all had a great week. We're gonna get into this thing, and we're gonna just talk about just different stuff. But we're gonna go a little more in depth into EVPs and orbs and things like that. And my partner there, he's going to lead us off. We're just going to kick into this thing. And everybody, if you have a story or you have something you want to add interesting, call in, give us a shout. You know, the chat room is fine, but I mean, you can call in live, share your stuff with us, or comments or whatever. We'd be glad to hear you. Without any further ado, Mr. Stratton, sir.
Why do you always confuse me for being a warrant officer? Seriously.
I'm just being respectful there, sir.
Just because you're older than me?
Actually, I'm not, am I? No. You're the old goat. I'm the young guy.
Hold on a sec.
I think I got him choked up, y'all.
Oh, God. Yeah, breathe, Hank. Breathe. Roger, Toby, you know that we've touched on many, many subjects as we've gone through our different shows. And I cannot help but remember and think about all these wonderful comics and other streams that have come through and have said, you know, well, call it an orb one more time, and I've got a 357 Smith & Wesson. Well, I got news for some of you people. I have an 8-inch self-propelled howitzer. Now, how's that for logic? Backing up with an M203. And for those military types, or non-military types,
yes,
I have is what is known as a grenade launcher. Okay?
I'll take the Apache helicopter, Hank.
I never learned how to fly, hence I'm not a warrant officer. Anyway, it's not recognizing orbs. Now, this is going to be a fun one for all our UFO friends. Not recognizing orbs is like saying, out of all the millions, billions, trillions, and quadrillion Googleplex number of planets and stars, we are the only one.
True.
Seriously. Okay. Now, let's start this off. Is every spot you see an orb?
No.
No! It is not. I mean, common sense, all right? I've taken pictures with snowfall. I've taken pictures with rain. And rain is one of the most bizarre catches for when we're out on an outdoor investigation. The streaks are pointing downward, and no, you don't have something trailing upwards. Thank you, Big Bird. I appreciate that. We've got some awesome orbs ourselves with the team. What we've got is, because of the speed of the cameras, we have where the raindrop starts, and that's why you have such a trail leading downward, because that's where the flash has caught the trailing of the raindrop. So why do we have tails on supposed orbs in the rain? Because you catch where it's trailing to. Now, when you have
I'd like to interject.
Go ahead.
Rain, trails, and orb trails. Okay, I just want to kind of interject something here to you. The orb trails are not at a point. I have yet to see a true point coming off of an orb. Vice versa, raindrop.
Well,
I have not.
We're touching that, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead and finish that thought up, Toby.
How many pictures have I sent to you of orbs with rain? Orbs in movement with rain in movement? Several.
Well, given the fact that we live here in Washington,
we got to live with it.
Yeah, and of all places, we have to learn how if we want to stay credible with our photographs.
Well, okay, let's take for instance here on our last one. I noticed even with the little amount of dew we had in the air, you still had a little faint, like an afterburner effect. And that's what I will call it, is an afterburner effect coming off of the orb. If anybody says, oh no, it goes forever, look at this trail. I'm sorry, but what are you smoking? That's a comet.
Yeah. Especially when it burns that big and bright. But anyway.
Yeah, and we all know some people don't believe in orbs because an orb... We touched on this subject this morning. I presented to you a local group up here that believes that all orbs are dust or they're demonic, cut dry.
Oh, God. I remember you pointing that one out to me.
So now orbs are demonic.
According to this one group, yeah.
Well, I have acquired some new friends, it seems, that go by the initials OSB, and they are supposed to be a paranormal research skeptical group, and they really tend to love me. But there was something mentioned about how much bullcrap orbs are and all that kind of stuff. But anyway. And you know my philosophy on orbs, both of y'all do actually. I always said that if one floated up in my face and said, hello, I'm an orb entity, then I would call it evidence.
And that's happened to you? Nah.
But I have actually seen a couple that I have to give a little credence to. Uh, Now, unfortunately, I have not seen the colored ones that y'all talked about and all that yet. But when you see one come out of a little boy's chest and go float up in front of a camera, you kind of have to shake your head a little bit on that one, you know, because that don't happen normally. And I have seen there's one in the cemetery that I caught that I think I showed it to you, Hank, before. It's pitch black out there, and I was not using a camera with a flash when I caught this. I don't believe. Yes, I did. I take that back. Yes, I did too. But this thing, and I have to say, there was no moisture, there was no fog, there was no rain, there was no none of that, and there was not. You know, in a place like that, if it to consider it to be dust, you would figure there would be like a lot of it going on. This was just one particular real bright, I want to say yellowish looking um, ball of light that was hovering next to this tombstone. And I couldn't really deny that that was something a little more than, you know, your typical dust, moisture, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm coming around, you know, you can teach an old dog new tricks. It just takes a little time.
Yeah, take a look at how long it took for me to learn computers. Anyway.
But anyway, that's. I just want to say, yeah, you know, I am coming around to the fact that there are some things in the orb categories that you just can't explain away as dust, moisture, bugs, etc., etc.
Okay. You hit a very good point right there. The bug orbs. Okay?
They're defining.
Will you quit stealing my thunder? You're no fun anymore, Toby.
Oh, wait, hang on. Could you explain the bug orbs? Because I know up here, you and I have caught some really interesting ones that had us second guess it.
Well, yeah, I remember them. Where we live now, Roger, I'm a little jealous of you and some of my friends back east. I'm a little jealous. For even as moist as it is here, we do not have lightning bugs, fireflies, whatever you all want to call them. Okay, we don't have them here. What we do have are ridiculously large mosquitoes that like to whisper sweet blood things in your microphone.
Are those the ones that say they fly over you and say, "Do you want to eat him here or take him with us?"
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah. Do we want him here or to go? Yeah. I mean, we've caught pictures of those, and it's like, oh yeah, look at this orb. Look at the 6 legs that are hanging down. I mean, you can actually count the 6 legs. We've had now the closest thing that came to an orb, an actual live orb. We've had a few moths out here. But once you blew them up and defined what you were looking at, you could see that they weren't orbs. They were moths. Toby, we had that. Where did we get that one that was almost perfectly round?
That was at Spanaway Lake.
That was at Spanaway Lake?
Yes, sir.
Another one that's got me confused for an officer. We beat our heads against the wall and finally determined it really was a bug. Now, When you take a photograph in an area that is supposed to be an orb-rich environment, is everything you're going to catch a picture of an orb? I have to emphatically say no. And that's where... Go ahead.
I was going to say I have to agree because, again, and I know you're probably going to get ready to say this, but location, terrain, season, all play a factor in it.
Especially with all the bugs that we have out here.
Well,
and
how
then,
about the pollen?
I was just getting ready to say that. One way that we can rule out what kind of pollen we have is what kind of an asthma attack I go into.
Oh, that's lovely.
I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. If we're having if we're out and we're getting a lot of greenish kind of orbs, and they're real small, I'm having a breathing problem. So that's pine. That's juniper. That's different kinds of pine out here. We have had. I've caught a dandelion seed drifting in the air, and I had to blow it up, and it's like, wow, really? A dandelion seed?
Data mentioned that wonder if different colors implicate status. That's a good question. You got any thoughts on that?
Well, we're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. One of the biggest issues with orbs, it is so much easier to dismiss an orb than to spend time and actually learn what it is you're dealing with. People have spent more time understanding what a understand what a shadow person is than they do what an orb is. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the link here that they're talking about, that we've been posted on. Okay, anyway, somebody follow up with that. I've got so many thoughts going on this.
That's no problem. I'll cover Dita's question real quick here. It is a good question, Dita. There's many different websites out there that have like a colored chart, so forth. I could give you the basics from what I know. White's purity, serenity. Blue's is supposed to be a healer. Red, orange, those you start getting into your anger. And I'm going to do this with a little bit of discontent, but / demonic side. Green, again, is a good positive. The lighter the shade, the more positive, the bigger role that they've ascertained on that side.
And their state of mind as to when they had crossed as well.
Yes, Dita, similar. You can compare the two, and they pretty much run hand in hand. I find it to be kind of weird. I mean, I've caught red, orange, just out here in my back. Well, the age-old adage, backyard, but not my backyard, my front yard, looking out by the street, and I have two entities that I've caught forming up in the same color that they came in via their travel mode, which is what we classify an orb. Am I correct on this?
I'm not you're not saying anything yet that that I would disagree with as of yet. If that's any consolation.
Well, I just get a kick out of it. I mean, the group I shared with you this morning was not the only group that did that. I have counted 8 other groups here within the U.S. that say that there's no such thing as orbs, and all orbs are either a demonic state of a manifestation and you need to seek professional help out. I have a problem with that. You know, until you actually get hurt, then you got to really, then you really need to seek help.
Okay, there we are.
I'm trying to remember what else I've learned is that, I mean, I love my green one so much. It's a lime green orb. It's not a green. There's really no color on the color chart for it, and I'm trying to figure out what a lime green would stand for.
Hey, Hank.
Yes.
Check your other chat thing.
I am, and I was getting ready to look for that.
Okay.
So I could reply to that. It's not on deaf ears, bro.
Okay, just
it's not on deaf ears. Now, so are they similar to the chakras?
I say somewhat
in
close.
some cases, yes. It's not a one answer fits all. There are similarities. If that answers any question, Dita. You know, so similar to the chakras. Now, what about opalescence? Well, that is a very, very good description. When you look at an orb, or when you catch an orb, and you see it has its own energy, it's opaque. You're not seeing through it. And yes, some of them do look pearlized. Okay? There is some opalescence to it. If that helps you out any. Here's one link. Wow, all that, Roger? But now, here again, if you take serious study, again, getting back to dust orbs, if you're in a dust area and you have multiple you have not one orb that looks round. Now, when I say round, I mean a full, beautiful, perfect 365-degree circular angle, circular object. Dust, a false orb is going to be either seen through. You know, you're going to have a little circle, and you're going to be able to see through it. It's not going to be a complete circle.
Unless if you get a blob.
Again, you're stealing the thunder? Ooh.
Hey, I'm leading it to you. What more do you want here?
I want it on a silver platter, and I want it now. No.
Yeah, you're getting it.
Yeah, well, okay, thank you very much anyway. Now, that one that we got when we were at Carbonado Wilkinson Cemetery, that Jim caught, Jim is a another member of my renegade investigators of the paranormal team. I'm yet to figure out what that is because it defies the classic rule of what an orb is.
How would you? How would you describe that?
I would describe it as a. I would describe it as a polygon. Okay, kind of rounded, kind of multi-sided.
Yeah, it took on a very unexplainable shape. I mean, how else can we describe it other than rounded, pentagon-y type shape?
Well, I say polygon because it had more than five flat sides to it.
Yeah, and there were no true angles to it. It was just.
We ruled out lens flare.
Yes.
We ruled out reflection.
Yes.
We ruled out what else did we rule out?
Transparency.
Yeah, we ruled out transparency. It was a blob.
Now,
For lack of any other more descriptive.
wait for it. Yeah. Dita's gonna shoot us here, Hank.
Oh.
Along the lines of orbs. Dita, just calm down. Don't worry. Shoot her off those 3 pictures real quick, and I'll set it up for you. And
Good Lord. Yeah.
A classic scenario.
Oh.
You've got multiple things going on. They're not dust.
I've got those downloaded in the external drive.
Oh, okay. Well, at any rate,
I've got those downloaded in the external drive.
Okay. No dust. No trees are pollinating. No bushes were pollinating. No flowers are pollinating. However, nor did they change location. So one would have to say, oh, that's a flare off of your flash. But if that's flare off my flash or on my lens, what happened to the pictures before this group and after this group?
Seriously.
Really, Hank, it goes back to my adage. I am not saying I'm God. I'm not the almighty bow down to because I have all the answers to all this. It's just I get some of the strangest, bizarrest stuff that. But Roger's seen it. The only thing that changes in those pictures is the black mass. Now, mind you, I'm using a plot.
Hold on. Yeah. You're listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.
Yeah, I'm using a flash. No flashlights were pointed in my direction, and plus, if there was, they're going the wrong way. But that doesn't explain the blondness of the orbs that I got in the picture.
Now, several times we've come up with something, and one thing drives another out. So bear with me. Okay? So bear with me.
Did you guys hear that whisper?
I did. And I'm
Right when
sure
you was
Cindy's,
talking underneath your voice.
I'm sure that Cindy's caught it.
Just check.
Okay. But
Oh,
back to our,
Orbeez.
yeah, I keep, I know there's something that I'm trying to get out, and I keep stumbling on it. And Toby, you made me think of it, and
I made you forget it.
well, the proverbial train jumped so far off the track that I'm going to need Greg at Iron Island to put it back on the right track.
Um, you know, what I mean, a lot of the orbs that paranormal groups catch, we could pretty much, I mean, if anybody disagrees with me on this, please feel free to jump in and let me know. We could cancel out 85%,
Oh, probably a little more than that.
you know. We could count it out for dust. I mean, old buildings are notorious for that. There could be
Now,
no wind, but it's still dusty.
you and I have been into some really odd areas that were supposed to be dusty, and the dust did not show up in flash in any circumstance.
Well, Hannah, are you doing your radio show?
No, and it's quite amazing. I mean, you get down into Arizona. Let's take Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, Texas, Nebraska, Utah, all the Midwest states. Prime example of dust, pollen. You're going to get dust almost all year round until it actually snows and covers the ground and kind of encapsulates all the dust. It's just, I think you've got to look at your surroundings. You got to look at your pollen count. You got to look at everything. If you want to really study orbs and really get a defining answer to it, that's what you have to do. You just can't go out and go ahead.
I was just going to say, and that's the whole point. It is so much easier to just, it doesn't exist, and move on to other things. Oh, now I remember exactly what it is that I was trying to tell you.
You just posted a place I'll be going to in April.
Gettysburg?
Yes, sir.
You know what?
I got an invite.
You know what? I got a few words for you.
Good luck, have fun. I am so jealous. Ew.
Yeah, I'll call you to send me a bottle of Excedrin.
Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, no, really, I know. But now, before I forget, okay. Oh, okay. I'm over here frustrated over the fact that you're gabbing. I forgot it again. Now okay. Let me get this spit out.
Get it out.
Okay.
As we wait for hate to.
As it goes into an orb. Now here's the big thing. When the difference between ghost hunters and paranormal investigators. When they go out, they're looking for the biggest, the brightest, full apparition or partial apparition. Now, let's look at this from a logical standpoint. Okay? One of the big reasons we don't get that all of the time, in fact, even 10% of the time. And another reason why you have to look at orbs, not everyone is going to get it. So look at it from one standpoint. How much energy it takes. Now, even when we do EVPs, how much energy does it take to relay any message? Now, that's got to be fractional in comparison to a full even a partial apparition. So when we see an orb, now I'm hearing a lot of people saying it's nothing to get excited about. It's just, what's the big deal about orb? Let me explain it why. We have a spirit in a natural conserved state. What is the best form to conserve energy? A ball.
Yeah.
A ball, a globe, a orb.
It's the basics of all it's a basic of all travel.
When I have watched many programs, when I have watched various investigations, now not all of them had an orb that went from orb to full materialization. Not all of them did, but it had the energy that it needed. Now, you've got a picture coming. And yes, Dita, we'll share it with you later. Toby doesn't have it right now.
What?
The body in the trees?
I got the head.
The picture that's coming to you with just the lower torso.
Oh, cool. Oh, yes. Oh, God.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Toby doesn't have it yet, Dita. Okay.
No, I don't. It's okay. Let me explain how it's coming to me here, real quick, Hank, before you tell the what the picture is.
All right.
Okay, Dita, this is coming from a good friend of the family that knew somebody that had taken a trip to the Redwoods in California. They took a picture of the oldest redwood there. And there was nobody, and I mean nobody in front of the tree. All they have is from neck down of an aspiration. Now, it's coming. Yeah, it was passed out to dozens of people via computer. All 12 of those people looked at it, instantly deleted it because they thought it was bad juju. Well, the gal that took the picture with a 35 millimeter camera. Anybody that tells me that a 35 millimeter camera is overexposure, double exposed, or you tweak the negative, I want to know how you tweak that negative without spoiling that whole entire roll. And you took it to a Photoshop to get it developed. Well, it's coming from Florida to Yuma, from Yuma to here. I should have it by next week. I will be honored to share that as quick as I can. So that's why we don't have it yet, Dita.
So, now imagine the energy that it takes to do that, or how much energy it took to do the energy, how much energy it took to come up with even the red dress that Roger has. When we catch photos, and we have, and I've got so many of them, Toby, you've got that one in your yard.
Yep.
Then I'll have to be patient. We love you too, dear.
I got your email address.
We have those trailings. Okay? Beautiful trails. There's energy lost when they do those trails. And again, where are they getting this energy from? Other than our batteries.
Okay. Again, let me step in, and I will give you how. The air is always charged with energy, constantly. Energy flows throughout everywhere. Okay? It was like on our investigation last Friday. What did I tell you? There's an odd charge to the air. And as the night progressed, did I not say it's getting odder and odder? To the point to where I literally had to stop communicating?
Yeah, it was. You actually even shut down, and I started picking up even other energies.
So, again, where are they getting it from? Air. It's there. How much is there? You would need to have the equipment to test the static that's flowing throughout the airspace at the time.
Trust the Force, Luke.
Oh, there you go.
Seriously.
You do. You literally do. You have to.
It's the energy that is all around us. Now, it would be nice if we could measure how much energy it takes to do of EVP, how much energy it takes to provide even a partial apparition. When we go out, just as a side note here, when we go out, Ed, my co-founder, has a 12-volt wet cell battery. And it does do a lot to save our battery energy on our equipment. Now, is it foolproof? We went up to Black Diamond Cemetery with the city council's permission. We were able to set up an investigation there. And one by one, Ed had some problem with his equipment, and it got straightened out. My camera was affected, and then my voice recorder was affected. And then Gene, who is another guest member of the team, his camera had issues. One by one, each member had something die out.
When do I not have issues?
Do you really want to get into that on the air? No. I know. I'm terrible. I'm evil. I'm mean. I'm nasty.
Just to mention, when we were at the hospital, remember I told you about they don't drain my cameras, they'll shut them off? That happened at the hospital up there. As soon as I started, when we got things kind of set up and I started walking down that first hallway there to the, I want to say the east, I went through the first set of double doors and they cut my camera off. Just cut it off.
I'm here. I'm answering someone online here. So you all go on, and I'll catch up to you.
But I mean that's what they do. They don't drain it. They just shut it off. It's like they're laughing at me when they do that. You know, like ha ha.
Are you sure they're not shutting it off, or are they actually draining it?
No, they're not draining it because it's still showing full charge because I just turned it on.
Okay.
They just turn it off.
You're lucky. You're lucky. They take it all from me. And somewhere, somehow, I will sit there and I will continuously press the power button and it just don't work.
Yeah, like Dita said, they're messing with me.
Yeah. Uh, that's one way that they gain the energy. Easy access. Cell phones are number one. They're notorious for it. Because where's the battery? It's exposed. Unlike a camera where it's actually concealed as in a confined unit, the cell phone battery is exposed. Unless if you
Right.
have it, unless if you got a cover on the back side. Well, wait a second here. That still don't work with me either because they take that battery and drain it down to nothing. This Friday they took my video camera battery where I was supposed to have 2 hours worth of recording, and they only gave me 38 minutes worth of time to record off that battery. Literally, even when I tried to turn it back on, battery failed. Battery failed. Now I get home, battery failed. Okay, so they took the energy right from that battery, and that battery's encapsulated. I went through 2 sets of batteries Friday. I'm notorious for having stuff go wrong, and thank God that that's the case because otherwise, I would be your average investigator when this stuff happens and be like throwing it on the ground and being, I give up, I quit, I don't want, I'm just packing it up, going home.
Throw it on the ground, stomp on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The golfer's attitude, huh?
Well, yeah, you could say that. I mean, luckily, I got a really good supportive team that, oh, don't worry about it, Toby. We'll share our pictures with you and everything else. And, it also gives them an opportunity. And Hank would probably agree with this. They get better pictures if I'm not taking pictures. If I'm not doing a voice recording, they get better EVPs.
I
Or when
won't say that.
Or
say that.
when I literally have to turn off my on and off switch. If I have to turn my on and off switch, they come out.
Yeah, in Toby's case, they are messing with him.
Yeah.
Now,
I love that.
Aside from the fact of the slight straying, we're still talking about energy to enable an orb. I have taken even my old Kodak. Okay, it's a 7.1 megapixel, nice little camera, nice little point and shoot. I've used it for years. One of our members I loaned it to brings it back to me halfway through an investigation, Hank. Battery's dead. Take it home, break the battery out, and it's just under a full charge. Now, are they taking the energy to do their thing and then give it back? I'm scratching my head on that one.
Here's a good one, Hank, for you.
Okay.
Along the lines of, it's still same lines of gaining energy. Okay. And forming up that holy grail that we all seek after, that apparition. If they're taking all that energy, you get home, like you said, and you test it, and you got a full charge on it, what the heck happened? Where is that going? It can't be due to improper mechanical human error. It was working fine when you started. So,
yeah.
Is it like a temporary use of, oh, here, wait, I'm going to take your 4 AA batteries, and I'm going to just kind of snag them for a little bit, and I'll give them back to you when you're done.
Now, mind you, okay, it's It's SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, thanks to the military. I test my batteries for their levels before I go out on any investigation, whether it's a private residence or we're doing training at a cemetery. It doesn't matter. I go out. I break open all the batteries. No, I break out the equipment, open up to check the batteries. There we go. Get rented fingers, rented lips, rented tongue. Anyway. So I know what kind of charge happens. And just to be safe, and this is what's really interesting, loose batteries are not affected.
Right. I've never had batteries in a package go bad.
I just don't know how to take. I just don't know how to take Dita's comment. Oh God. What has been seen cannot be unseen. Oh, anyway, it only affects batteries or energy in a piece of equipment. And I'm yet to figure out how that is. Again, like Toby says, it's encased. So an orb, what is that orb using the energy for? It's not coming to a full manifestation, but we're getting some great photos. Some beautiful orbs.
To present color. That would be my logical answer.
You know, could it possibly be like, I don't have enough energy here to show you my true form, but I want you to know that I'm here?
Now we're thinking as investigators as opposed to ghost hunters.
Yep.
Is that making sense?
Well, your typical ghost hunter is going to dismiss the orb anyway. I mean, they're after if they can't see the body, face, arms, legs, blah, 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 it just ain't what it is. You know what I mean?
Well,
and then there's my favorite, your favorite, everybody's favorite, the GAC boys. We have a light anomaly doing this, that, or the other. Oh, guys, come on. Political correctness. Come on. Honestly.
Can I throw a curveball to you, too?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Okay, since we're talking about orbs and them that being their, so we'll since we pretty much settled
we'll call it a
politically
correct term.
Well, a travel mode.
Yeah.
Can somebody defy the ones that I got where there's actual faces in them? How do you explain that?
One word. And
You're
it was a great. And it was a fairly. And it was a great movie.
Go for it.
Matrixing.
Even if you don't zoom in.
Matrixing. One of the biggest problems that we have, even as investigators, because we are human. We are, for all intents and purposes, sentient beings. We have knowledge. We see patterns. It's in our nature. It's part of our hunting skills. We make sense out of patterns. And when there is no sense to a pattern, we about blow a fuse mentally to see something. Now, this is in my humble, personal opinion, my thoughts, my ideas.
Yeah. Well, now hang on, hold on. I do agree with you, majority of it, but let me play devil's advocate here. If we get an orb that is let's say a blue descent color, or a off blue descent color, you get layers in that orb. Is that a bona fide orb? Or are we matrixing on that orb?
The orb is real, but what we're seeing, what the mind is trying to make sense of. Oh, look at all this pretty patterns. Yes, that's really a human orb. Ah.
So what do you do if you get layered orbs? Oh wait, hang on. Before you answer, 99% of the groups out there, if they're not investigators, will totally dismiss it.
Roger, you got something before we go to break?
Well, like I said, I'm just, getting into the actual belief that there's a little more to the orb thing than I have thought in the past. So a lot of these things that I have not witnessed, I would like to see, so that I could actually uh, do some experimenting and look into them closer myself. Um, Spirits, in my opinion, like I said, if all they can produce is an orb, they're trying to say, look, I'm here. I can't show you my true form, but I'm showing you that I am here. Um, if I saw something like that, I would use that just the same as I would if I saw an apparition. Hey, we're here too. Let's talk.
Come on up to Washington.
Yeah, I'll jump on the next bus, sir, Toby. But let me take that out of my petty cash,
Oh, I'm sure I could throw a tent out in the backyard for you.
Yeah, same here. Hey, you're on the way. There's $20 for you.
A little bit cold for
It's
tents.
$20.
Yeah, go get yourself a burger and fries.
Well, no, that's too much.
No, I'm pretty good with the barbecues. I gotta be fair about it. $20 should last you at least 2 weeks, but
wait, $20 gets you a bag of peanuts on a plane nowadays.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hey, listen all. We're going to be going to break here pretty quick. And we're going to be doing this in a nice way. And Dita says that she's going to be bringing the deviled eggs. Y'all come on down, you hear? Anyway, you're listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York. And we're going to go for a break. You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.
Okay, everybody, we are back, and we are talking about orbs and what they mean, different types, etc., etc. And Hank has been doing most of this, and he has more experience, him and Toby, than I do with the orb thing. So I'm kind of letting him,
Battle it out.
yeah, put it out there because, like I said, I've only had a couple that I could really scratch my head and say this is a little more than just a dust particle. So I'm going to let him continue, and we are going to get into also EVPs.
Well,
So,
let's break into what you're doing, Toby. I mean, yeah, Toby's on the brain. Anyway,
Wait. I understand I'm really just a kid. Okay, and I know I need to be scolded for some odd reason, but come on now.
A Freudian slip, eh? Okay.
Well, real quick, I was telling Roger about the experiment that I did up at Wilkerson, Carbonado Cemetery, and I had
that one.
Yeah, I had that orb right there, and I was telling them, I literally told people I was being tickled. And long and behold, there's that orb right in my armpit. Go figure.
Martha? No, Martha was pink.
No, Martha was the one that decided to wrap me up in wool, which I'm definitely allergic to.
Well, wool was a very warm, durable material back in her day. And it was cheap. More of a... Yes, it was. It was an easy fabric to work with. It was durable, and it was warm.
Yeah, oh, bless her heart. Even though it was August.
Well, you know... sometimes they can't help it.
Well, no, here's something. I mean, this goes along the orbs. And a lot of people, a lot of groups, I won't say people, but I'll say groups, dismiss this. They start smelling a certain odor, a certain scent, and if somebody was using a camera, somewhere down the road, there's going to be an orb within that picture.
Oh, that goes right along with orbs. There is a lot of times there is a etheric aroma. It's something you don't necessarily physically smell. It's that, oh, what a wonderful aroma, and someone next to you is, I don't smell a thing.
Right.
Okay.
hi, just out of curiosity,
Yes.
I know these are two completely different things, but can they be misconstrued as one, where you have what people call ghost lights?
My most famous pictures. You can. We were talking about smelling like a Colombian cigar. Was it, Hank?
It was, no, not a Colombian. It was Cuban.
Okay. And it was just shortly before that is when I got the pictures of the ghost lights. So can they go hand in hand?
Quite possibly.
We don't know. There's no theory behind it. There's no identifying proof behind it.
Well, I was just
here's the
curious
thing.
because, you have, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
That's all right.
You have cases where, well, Alejandro, you saw the video of the ghost lights, right?
Right.
Yes.
That he had. and they covered up the stop sign, all reflective things, shut their lights off on the car, and all this stuff, and you can still see these lights. There's no explanation for them. Supposedly something happened at that spot at some point in time, and then again that goes back to the everything steps from legend thing. But you know, is it? Um, I'm trying to express myself here, and I'm losing words. But do orbs have to be a certain size? Can they be big, small, etc.? And could what people call ghost lights be actual orbs?
Ghost lights are, by definition, ghost lights. They
By
are
definition, yes.
no. Hold on. They're an unexplained, basically unexplained phenomena. They are a light. An orb. Yes, that example that Alejandro, the Dead Explorer on YouTube, has provided us. It does travel. It does materialize, fade out. But I have to say, in my experience, and Toby can verify this, while an orb does create its own gentle light, it's not going to create that much light. Now, we talk on the subject of ghost lights now.
There's still orbs.
Good example I have was one of my most exciting pictures that I got from the Spanaway Lake location. There was a couple of them, and I did everything I could to debunk them. One looks like a horse. And I thought, okay, there's an orange porch light across the lake, and it's coming through the trees and creating problems. Then this is what I'm getting. No, the trees were too thick in this particular area. However, this was an area where Ed and his infamous battery had been hanging out. So, you know, this is where this had come about, to say, hi, take a picture of me. It looks like a horse or someone standing next to it.
Right.
I have another one that looks like an orange goose, but it's when you compare it to the background, it's not a small goose.
Go
for it.
I was just going to say, ghost. Okay. Let's see here. How many do I have in my repertoire of ghost lights? Oh, too many. But my favorite one is that of my good friend from back in New Jersey. The one that's next to her head. Prior to that, she was talking about smelling a different male odor, a different scent. I wasn't picking it up. I wasn't smelling anything, but she did. It's what would you say, about an inch and a half from her head? It looked like a strand of her hair.
And you use the operative word, looks like, but when you actually investigate it, and bring it out so you can tell the difference, it's not a strand of hair.
Nope. Or what about the one that I have? Okay, hang on. This is what I was going to say earlier about orbs and ghost lights. The picture that I have taken above my house with the stars. How many lights are in that one item? Now, notice I said lights, not light, lights.
Well,
There's
by
several.
definition, well, yeah, we can't tell for sure.
Right. But
Because they're moving so fast.
they're moving
B,
so fast.
They look like if you look at them and you count the number of pathways, it looks as if there's 4. There are 4 brighter spots before they come together as one.
Yes.
I've
there-
got no clue for that one.
Yeah. And how many times have I tried to take that to different groups, and next thing you know, I don't see them anywhere. They have totally
Yeah.
the ideology that I have of these 3 pictures would just take, or has, I will put it that way, has taken groups that were together are now disbanded because it totally blew all their theories apart. I don't go around doing that. It's just I go around looking for an answer. You know that, Hank. If I can't get a solid concrete answer, yes, we could say they're ghost lights. What is it is the age-old question behind the picture. Is it a angel coming from above, descending down to earth? We don't know. I mean, I'm still, well, let's see here. What I gave it to a total of 13 groups, and I'm still waiting for 13 answers.
Well, if you count our group,
I don't count our
Gene,
group.
you got one. Well, fine, be that way. You don't count us, do you? No.
Yeah, I got 1/10 of my proposed questions. I got 1/10 of an answer. You know, honestly, I mean, it's not my objective to go and do that. It's just I personally feel that it blows them out of the water, and it's like, well, geez, us taking our theories that we believe in that so heartedly right out the window without re-examining everything. Well, wait a second, they're just ghost lights, folks. But you can't give me an answer to say that they're ghost lights. But what are they? What are the ghost lights? We don't know.
All I can describe and put forth. Okay. Now the internet is wonderful, and everybody has their own views, ideas. I can go through and you can type in ghost lights, and you can see the various examples. There's Alejandro's version of a ghost light. There's another thing they call foxlight. There is an old legend of what is known as will-o'-the-wisp. And a lot of people equate that to swamp gas, a luminescent, chemiluminescent phenomenon. When you have a light or a trailing of a light, you have a ghost light. Now, when I saw those lights that were posted in Alejandro's Dead Explorer, I told him it's like that is the ultimate in ghost lights, because these are so different. These are what would be literally termed as ghost lights. When you have an orb streak, it's so much easier to say, yes, a ghost light. So we are really the first to, I see you, Roger. We are the first as paranormal investigators to be serious about what we're doing. We literally are blazing the trail. There were others that came before us. Go ahead, Roger.
I was just going to bring up all the different stuff that you see on the internet, on paranormal sites and all this stuff, and stories about the, and this fits into the ghost light category, where on railroad tracks you see the supposed lantern, light at the end of the tunnel or whatever, or down the track somewhere you'll see the lantern light approaching, that is supposed to be like one of the railroad workers that died in that spot or that area or whatnot. Do you consider that as the ghost lights, and it all fits into the, could that be an orb also kind of thing, or what category exactly would you put that in?
Understand, we're talking based on what we've learned, okay? And so we're looking at a light from a ghost. Now, I don't always find ghost and spirit synonymous, meaning the same. We get set in patterns of ways of thinking. My view, this is a ghost light based on the fact someone is using a lantern. Now, back to Alejandro's ghost lights. He has, it's basically the same thing. The legend of the woman is using a light to find her lost children. So we have the theme here of a light. By definition, a ghost light.
It's no difference as Paul Revere's, or better yet, the ride through Boston.
Well, Paul Revere, Boston.
Yeah.
Same.
No.
Paul Revere was not the only one that did that, by the way. There were two others, I believe. But anyway.
One was female.
That's what I understand. And history does not necessarily, well, how we all know about history, and we'll let it go at that. When we see the trails of light with the orbs, when we see that example that I have of the horse, that big orange, reddish orange, for lack of, it's a descriptive term. It's not really a goose. It kind of reminds you of a goose. That long, that big body, the long neck, and then that little head deal.
Yeah.
Those are referred to as also ghost lights. Do I wish there was a better definition, a better term? You betcha. Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with you on that, because does that mean, again, this goes back to what we started out talking as, is orb a ghost light? If you're going to say yes, then we better remove the word orb out of the dictionary.
Well, here's where the difference is. The ghost lights that we see, the orbs that we see, most of the time. Now, when I say most of the time, I mean there are a few of us of a psychic nature and background that do see orbs. But then again, we also see full bodies. But that's our lot in life. And I humbly and graciously accept it. We see them with a camera.
Right.
When these ghost lights that Roger's describing, Alejandro is describing, and you've brought point two, we're not seeing them with the aid of anything electronic. We see them with the naked eye.
Right.
And not necessarily a psychic eye.
No,
and many of us psychics will understand that.
Yeah. Again, when you get a non-psychic seeing it, it freaks the individual out because, okay, yeah, I am a psychic medium. However, I do see things that, the average human being does not see. But on one of our investigations, I was alerted by someone that of none of that nature saw the same exact thing that I saw, which was literally like somebody torching up a lighter, a Zippo. It was that much of a definition of a flame.
Are we dealing with a residual or intelligent haunting? Are we dealing with... We are doing more than just scratching the surface of paranormal investigations, because we're looking for those answers. We don't always necessarily have a bachelor degree behind us, but we are still nonetheless intelligent, thinking, but yet open-minded individuals.
Oh gosh, you had to say that word, bachelor's degree.
Well, I mean, no, seriously. Just because you have a degree does not mean you know squat.
Let's put it this way. I'll take anybody, okay, that has a degree in the same so-called field that I am in, and I will take them side by side. By all definitions and meanings, they should see the same thing that I'm seeing. When in their theory, no, you don't see it, you only hear it. So, in my opinion, it's this way. It doesn't matter if you got that nice piece of paper stating blah 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 blah, congratulations, blah 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 blah, signed by Joe Schmuckatelli and John Hancock, president, vice president of. Doesn't matter. If you could step out of the box and beat the living doo-doo out of all your evidence, you're doing exactly what an investigator would do. You're going to beat the living poop out of an orb. You're going to beat the living poop out of a ghost light. You're going to try to discredit your own stuff to the point to where it drives you nuts. You have to walk away from it and then come back and look at it again maybe a week later because you're so frustrated, you're so angry that there's no physical way. There's no possible theory, and there's the big word, theory, on how this is happening. So does it matter if you got a degree when you're looking at orbs or ghost lights and to say, well, that's what they are by theory? Well, let me take your by theory and let me throw it out the window, because nothing happens by theory. Am I wrong or right a little bit on this? I don't know. I could be totally way out of line on my thinking.
Well, that depends on who you talk to. Anyone. Okay, let's pick this apart. You turn around and said if you would go against anyone that would, you trade shot for shot. Well, here's the little problem with that. Just because they have a degree does not mean they have any sense of psychic ability. So there's no way on this side of the Divine's green earth they're going to see what we see. Now, granted, okay, now let's clarify something. Toby is a psychic medium. I am an empath. I don't necessarily see, but I open my eyes, my third eye, my psychic eye, to possibilities. And that is the big secret. Are you open-minded enough? Or are you so closed off that you can't see anything unless it turns around and smacks you upside the head with a 2x4 to get your attention? Now, before anybody answers that, you're listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York. Had to get the call letters out there, guys. Now hit me.
Yeah. I'm not going to hit you, but I will.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. I mean, okay, there are some that are what I would call understanding the overall thing instead of being stuck on the transcontinental highway and staying in the right-hand lane only, even when you're inside a city. You don't change course. You don't divert into the lane. If you need to pass somebody, you're like, oh, I'm just going to stay right here. Why? Because that's what you want to do. That's where you're more comfortable at. Now, while others are on the same road, same direction you're heading, but they're so open-minded that they're zooming by you at the rate that you're going, geez, man, why are they going so fast like a banshee down the highway, man? Are they in a hurry? Well, yeah, of course some are, but I mean, that's besides the point. It's just being so open-minded to anything and everything out there, because catching the grandpa poo of it all, it's not going to give any credibility to what you're doing. It's just you're focused on the grandpa poo. You're going to stay looking for that grandpa poo, and then what I call the fizzle out. You just fizzle out. You got your grandpa poo. You got your grandpa poo up on your fireplace mantle, and that's the only thing you're going to talk about. Well, what about this? Oh, no, my grandpa poo, man. That's where some people lie, and it's kind of dangerous, because it kind of affects the overall bunch. Instead of being open-minded and unopinionated on things, i.e. ghost lights, orbs, apparitions. Okay, now when I say apparitions, there are some people out there who say, that's a hoax. You did it. You did this. You did that to create that image. Okay? instead of being narrow-minded and closed and being stuck on the proverbial Pacific Union Railroad, jump off the track. There's plenty more out there. That's my take. That's my opinion on it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, let's look at it this way, okay? I'm going to mention a few names, and I'm not being a name dropper because I don't know them, but I respect their work, okay? We have Chip Coffee, okay? And we've got our friends, the Booth Brothers, okay? We have Lorraine. Okay, help me out here.
Warren?
Yes. I'm trying to think of his name. Her husband's name. John Zappis's aunt and uncle. Okay, and yeah,
Ed.
that's what that's what I was thinking, but I was not sure. Rather than well, never mind. Rather than losing my mind and sounding weird. Yeah, Ed and
Bite me! Bite me!
Hey, open mouth and serpent.
Hey, look, we're on Red Radio. We're supposed to sound more intelligent than that. Anyway,
Yep.
the point I'm getting at, these people don't have a baccalaureate. They don't have a master's. They don't have a PhD behind their name.
But they did great.
And yet, exactly what I'm getting at. Their experience in it's still, even with everything that we're learning now, the unknown. And it's no longer unknowable.
And a lot of people, it's kind of like whenever you learn to play music and you have a group or band or whatever that you were inspired by. Ed and Lorraine and people like that are still inspiring investigators now.
Very, very much. Very much. Peter Herkos. I still have a few issues with James. I'm trying to think of his name.
I know who you're talking about.
I
can't think of his last name either, but I know who you're talking about.
And there's another wonderful name. Oh God! I don't even. No. The one I'm thinking about did a special for an investigation on the Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, Queen Mary.
Mustache. Queen Mary. The QE2. He has this big, huge mustache and white hair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm on record. I don't trust Von Frog. But then again, we all have our favorites.
Well, I got it. You bring up that name. People have come in after him.
Peter James.
Thank you. Yes.
There you go. And have discredited everything that was stated. So how can you sit there and say, oh, the credibility of this one person, blah, blah. Well, they established their own credibility. But however, it's a legacy that the individual builds and improves that does improvements within the field is the ones that everybody kind of tends to lean towards and gets an idea and branches from that idea. There is when you're dealing with the paranormal, there is no solid concrete proof anywhere anyways. Hey, call me whatever you want, but it's true. Paranormal is exactly what it's called. Nothing.
Well, what I have interesting problems with is parapsychology.
Oh, so you sit down with them and discuss their problems?
You know, that's what I've always had a problem with. Parapsychology. Now, here's the thing. Everything that comes under the heading of parapsychology, and I'll be honest with you, I have been working on some sort of something with that. Parapsychology. Now, let's look at this. Parapsychology covers ufology, cryptozoology, psychic phenomena, and almost anything else that should basically be under the heading of paranormal. Now, let's look at the word paranormal again. We have a reputation. We build it up, striving to see the truth of something. And if we find out that truth is not holding up, then, okay, we followed the best of our ability with the understanding that we had. We see why this is wrong, and we're moving on from it.
I got a quick question here.
Don't you always?
I always do. It's going to be a question of what you're saying. So, if it is a study of the paranormal, if somebody walks onto the Queen Elizabeth, okay,
Queen Mary.
Or Queen Mary, yeah, sorry, I don't know what made me think about Queen Elizabeth. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I'm not touching it either. The dear lady is...
Who she is. There's certain things I will not step into. I just won't go on or in, because of the simple fact is, and Hank will contest this by either confirming with a yes or no, I feel I see everything that they have gone through. It's almost like sitting down and being a therapist for the dead. You're given sympathy in a way that is, you might as well just say, my chair's open, come on over, we'll discuss what you're going through or what you went through to help you understand what happened. Well, you can't charge them by the hour, because what are they going to do? Give you ghost dollars? It just, paranormal is exactly what it is. It's something that is not by definition. That's my take on it. And I will hush up because I think I opened up a can of worms.
Well, that fits into a whole big, broad category of things. Paranormal can go into all kind of different directions.
Yeah.
Well, anything basically that is not normal is either schizophrenic or paranormal.
Okay. Now you just touched a word that I'm still looking for the answer of who gave the definition of normal and what is normal. Who is normal?
I've never been there.
There really and truly there is no set definition of normal. Your definition of Roger of normal could be one thing. Hank's definition of normal could be a total different. Mine could be way out in left field from all three of you, but yet there's a common ground within each sentence, and that's what makes it normal.
True. True. Very true. Well, normal. I don't believe that there is anyone on this planet who is under the definition of normal. Everybody has their own weird things, okay? Everybody. So we can throw normal out the window. But describing paranormal could be many, many different things.
So would that fall under the heading of what Hank was saying, parapsychology? Would that fall under paranormal?
Now, how in the world did I get my mic turned off? No wonder no one's here.
Were you talking to yourself again?
Apparently.
You love doing that.
Oh, my God. It's like, no wonder. I'm trying to tell you, let's take this, let's stop, let's, and it's like, oh, my God.
Okay,
they don't hear me. What's wrong?
Wow,
boy, just go ahead and turn your mic back on.
Parapsychology,
Anyway,
Toby,
real quick.
in my opinion, is just somebody researching the paranormal. It doesn't make parapsychology paranormal.
Well, that's what I'm getting into. Now, first off, Cheryl is Big Bird is my hero. Abby Normal. Anyway, okay. Now, let's look at this logically. Now that everybody can hear me, now paranormal is anything that is unexplained. UFOs, Bigfoot, the psychic phenomena. So who's his brainchild that calls this parapsychology? They're not calling it parascience. They're calling it parapsychology. I propose that everything that falls under the heading of parapsychology become the study of the paranormal, paranormalology, or whatever you want to call it. Because that's more fitting.
Right.
So parapsychology, there's nothing psychological about it.
I got to agree. We could touch on that subject all night long, honestly, because you could.
Well, we are a little touched, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, okay. It takes me back to the other night. CJ's question in chat group about veterans. Does that make veterans more sensitive to the surroundings? Yes, it does. We're more aware of where we're at, what we're doing, who's in what location, who's doing what, who's getting ready to do what. We're overanalyzing everything. And generally, we're 90% right. We know that next move. We know that next item or that next thing that's going to be taken. So we're like, oh, man, okay, I knew they were going to take that. It's no difference than somebody walking into a store and you're on Black Friday and only one thing is marked down 90% on sale. You're rushing with your cart. You're going to get that one thing, and there's only 2 items left, and 3 other people are racing to it, and you're like, I hope they don't grab it before I do. And those 2 grab it before you do. So you're actually studying everything around you, which would lead into, it kind of takes it into a whole entire different field of psychology, because why? You're studying what's around you, what's moving, what's there, what's not there, what forces are going to interject with you. Hey, Hank, you're former military. Am I wrong that the military analyzes everything? Or is it just something that's bred within us?
I have to tell you that as a civilian, a hunter would be the closest thing, because they are aware of their environment. They know the changes, and they're their sense is like right there, what's going on. When we join the military, we are so broke down that now we know what they're trying to teach us. I mean, you just lapsing a little bit. You know, one of the cheers basically is more sweat and peace, less blood and war. You're trained. You're made to think in different ways. That comes back with you in your civilian life. You are more into that sense of attunement to your environment never changes. Now, I would say more so with ground pounders. Now, when I say ground pounders, I'm meaning Army that's out in the field. I'm saying anyone that has worked with the Marines. Yes, Corpsman.
Yes.
Okay. You're in an environment on board ship. I'm not saying the service is not important. It's not the same. You're on ship. You're listening for incoming shells. You're in the Air Force. Officers are in the planes, in the jets. You may have, I mean, obviously the enlisted are going to be doing guard duty, but they're usually in a more secure area. Again, I am not saying they are any less important. Okay? Now, we have airmen that have gone through a survival course, whether they're enlisted or they're officers. They would be the exception to that rule and would stand in with that same category as ground pounders because they're in tuned. Now you throw in to this wonderful mix, which the military is still barely understanding. You throw in the various levels of psychic ability.
Hence the wording, or I will say part of wording, PTSD.
Which is extremely real, and I can only say this is something that the mind is forced to handle. A woman who has gone through an abusive relationship and who needs to get out, she will forever be aware of that abuse.
So I know we're kind of slipping off the ordeal, but it actually kind of all loops around. If you can see where it does fit in, if you see where it's going, it all falls back into the complete cycle of, yes, you become more aware of your surroundings. If my favorite saying is, you got to be in tune with what's going on, and I tell that to my daughter every single day I talk to her. She's discovering, and well, I'm holding back, but she's a sensitive. Surprise, Hank.
Yeah, really.
She is so aware of what's going on around her that even being who she is and what she does, which she's not in this state right now, bless her heart for doing what she does. Like she tells me, there's certain areas that she will go through and it just freaks her out because she's getting an emotion that she cannot correlate to at that moment, and then it dissipates. It just disappears. So I'm kind of standoffish, and I'm letting her explore her own realm and understanding of it. But again, this takes us back to being an investigator of the paranormal, of being aware of every single little thing, step, sight, hearing, emotion, gut feeling that is happening to you at that moment in order to capture something, because it just doesn't happen and then you not knowing it. There's a lead up to everything, just like the ghost lights. There's a lead up to the ghost lights. And there they are. There's an emotion or a feeling tied into it that captures you, and you get focus on it, and guess what? There they are.
Now, that you brought up the ghost lights, I was fixing to say we have gotten way off track of where we were. All interesting stuff, however, has nothing to do with orbs, but now I'm going to ask you, Toby, being, and you also, Hank, you're military. When they train you and I went through basic training, like, I mean, for the National Guard, it's a different thing. It's the same basic training as regular Army, but probably not quite as intense in some areas. And being in combat, Toby, you were in combat before, and Hank, I'm sure you probably were. Does that heighten your sense of knowing a real orb from something that may not be?
Hank, go ahead.
The simplest way I can describe that, aside from the fact that no, I tried to go into combat and it didn't work out. I was mostly peacetime, but I trained as if I was.
Well,
there is an energy. Yeah. There is an energy that is different. Perfect example. We were at the Soldier Cemetery Friday night. I come through an area and it's like, we're not alone. And I turn around and I took a shot. And it was filled with false orbs, but there were 5 full orbs. That tells me that with the energy that I had felt going through there was something extremely paranormal.
Okay, now let me throw in the opposite of Hank. Yes, I did go through combat, and what I traded for doing peacetime? No. What I say is totally different from doing peacetime war games? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. You're more mentally challenged when it's... How can I put this? I'm going to have a hard time with this because I can't compare it to anything. I can't describe it. Unless you've been there, there's no way to describe it. And I'm being completely honest. Did it make me more aware of everything? Yes, it did. It heightened my senses much more because you're placed in a strange land, strange surroundings. You don't have the comforts of home. You don't have mom and dad sitting there giving you the luxury cuppy pat on the back going, "Oh, good boy, son, you're such a good boy." Sorry about that. Sorry. Emergency call came in. when you're over there, your mind is so focused on every single little detail, minute detail. Let me get that right. It's a minute detail because you got to look in windows. You're looking for this little itty bitty dot. Okay? It's not like what you see on TV where they come blaring out going bang, 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 bang. It's not like that. I mean, today, modern warfare is nothing like World War II, World War One, Korean War, Vietnam changed it. Then you got the Gulf War, and today's yada yada. It's a different type of atmosphere that will take you beyond any imagination. I mean, that's the only way I could take it and describe it. I can't put it into words other than I have been elevated so high that a firework to this day, Roger, I go even a pop it. I want to take cover. Not that I'm scared of it. It's just a natural reaction from what I went through.
Well, I kind of figured that, being in intense situations like that, you become, um, okay, I'll use this example. A blind person's hearing becomes really intense, or a deaf person's sight may become more intense because they're compensating for the loss of one sense for another. When you're in a situation like where you have to constantly be aware that your life is in danger or your buddies' lives are in danger,
By the way, guys, we're going to be doing a quick break here. You're listening to WCJV, digital broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York. And we'll be back in a little bit. Hold that thought, Roger. We'll share it with everybody.
You are listening to WCJV Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, New York.
Okay, we are back, and we're talking about awareness, orb sensitivity, and voices that we heard in the background, uh, which I didn't hear, unfortunately, but Toby heard it. Uh, Apparently, somebody underneath all this is really loving me tonight. But anyway, be sure to go vote, you guys. It's after 9. Be sure to go vote for us. Give us the thumbs up. You know, all that good stuff on Talk Stream Live or streaming radio online, whatever you want to call it.
Even for Reverend Minds, please, love us.
Yeah, love us. Nobody else does. No.
Hey, I got a question real quick, Hank, for Roger. Roger,
Yes,
I know you got that male entity in your room.
Right.
Okay. What's your history about him that you know?
There's none that I know of. I know that this house is a duplex that used to be a single dwelling home. It's very old. I don't know the actual date on it.
Do you know the history of the land or the territory?
Not really. I do believe that our street that is in front of the house here was not the original road that went through here. It was more to the west. And I know this because the house across the street from me, which is an original, sets at an angle. Uh,
Okay,
like
because
going south to north, it sets at an angle like northwest. And all the rest of the houses here are in line with the street. This was one of the original houses, probably one of the first.
so you don't know if it was a property of an old land stake claimer back way back when?
Not really. I'd have to do some research on that. Uh, I believe that my friend here was an original owner of the house, maybe, or maybe he's been here before the house was here. I'm not sure on that one, but
Okay, because there was another whisper underneath your voice again, and it definitely is a male. And I'm going to tell you his age. His age is 65. Okay, thank you, Hank. Um, he original land claimer right there. That is the entity that's in your room. For right now, that's all I can tell you. I don't have a name for him yet.
right.
But I can't tell you he is the original clam.
Original clam.
Claim, not clan, not clam. Claim.
I got seafood on my mind. I don't know why. Land claimer. Back when, if I remember my history correct, that part of your state was still quite well undeveloped, and it was a free roam for quite a while. And what you took is what you took. That was your land.
Right. Well, now, see, Martin, actually, and I was talking to somebody about this recently. when Martin was a fledgling little beginning town, a train came through from Memphis bringing rats with diseased fleas on it.
Okay.
And a yellow fever epidemic broke out, which the cemetery is on the other side of town from me, with a mass grave of, I can't tell you how many bodies, because they started dying off so fast they couldn't give them proper burials. The doctor who worked through this epidemic, his house is like 2 blocks straight down my road from me. And I'm sure that all in this area there was probably things going on from that time period, way before this house was here. Yeah, you're probably right. It could possibly be a land attachment.
Okay, because there was when I told you there was another whisper, and I'll tell you exactly what that whisper stated was. He is nice, quote unquote.
And like I said, the spirit that's here never does anything harmful. I mean, and I'm 99% sure it's a male figure, but I also believe there's a female figure around here too. But anyway, I know when he's in the room because my dog goes ballistic. She gets under my desk and lays under my feet and won't move, or she'll stare at a certain spot, and just have this really weird look on her face. So I know when he's here, he's not harmful or anything like that. I think he likes to check it out, see what I'm doing,
Yeah. Do you? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have a niece on the other side?
Do I have a niece?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of. I have 2 sisters on the other side.
But no youngins?
No.
Okay. I'm just canceling out probabilities of what was stated, but I just want to make sure that it was nice and not niece. I mean, niece. When you're dealing with an ordeal, yeah. When you're dealing with the other side, okay. If anybody says, "Oh, they know exactly what they're saying," well, if you know exactly what they're saying, then you should be able to spit it out right away, without saying, "I think." I'm just eliminating a word that got muffled with another sound, and it just kind of ran together. But I really, there's really nothing for you to. Just pay attention to him, say hi to him, because apparently he wants to talk to you.
We have our little conversations at different times. Like when I know he's in here, I'll say, hey, what's happening, But I think mostly he likes to just come in here and hang out with me. He really don't. Like I said, it's not a bad feeling or anything like that. It's just like he just comes and hangs out with me. So,
does he have a name given by you yet? No?
I call him George sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what his name is. I'll say, "What's up, George?" or something like that.
James.
Okay,
James.
well, I was close then.
Yeah, James is the proper name. He seems to be like an individual that just wants to see what's going on because it's new to him. It's different from what was used to.
Well, I spend a lot of time on the computer, and he likes to. I think he likes to just watch and see what I'm doing.
Oh yeah. It's technology. It's not like the tin can and string that they had back then. it's totally new, totally different. It's no difference as, my spirit guide. I got a sliding glass door in my house, and it baffled her so bad because a sliding glass door does not belong on the inside of a house. It just don't. Yes, folks, I do have got a call.
Caller, you're on the line.
Hello. This
Hey,
is Laura.
Laura.
How's it going?
All right, hon.
I'm trying to mute my sound. Hang on. Okay. I was going to try to maybe offer some of my stories to fill some more time if you got a little bit left. But I don't know. Are we going past the usual time, or what time is the show over tonight?
You just go right ahead on.
Okay. There's a trick, though. There's a catch. I'm going to make Hank pick the subject out of all the ghost stories I've told him that I have of my own for me to tell. So it's all on Hank.
Just go
if he
for it.
remembers anything I've ever shared.
Well, let's see. Now, you got the guy at the fireplace. You've got Eric. You've got, good Lord. Go for it. Throw it out there.
Pick one.
Tell me about the guy at the fireplace. I'm not Hank, but
That's one of Tim's stories. Are you talking about the guy in the fireplace at his old house in Tacoma? That's one of Tim's stories.
oh,
That's one of Tim's stories. Laura,
Now, I'll go with Eric then, since that was the second.
Okay, there you go.
Choice.
That'll work.
Well, let's see. Basically, what he does is, as far as any movement or activity, he likes to throw bread off the fridge. Because he worked at Pizza Hut for about 10 years. He was a coworker. He had shot himself shortly after I moved away. Was found in his apartment. Over the weekend, he had the weekend off, and on Monday he was expected, and he was never late without calling, so people got a little curious, and they went and found him anyway. He likes to... He worked at Pizza Hut, like I said, for over a decade, so he got kind of sick and tired of pizza. And living alone, he ate mostly sandwiches. He would always find a different way to make sandwiches, and that was his favorite thing in the whole world. I've seen this happen not only at home, but at the stores and at numerous different stores we've been to. A couple different Albertsons, the SARS, it's happening up here now at SARS Marketplace. Bread's flying off the shelf. Whole loaves of bread just flying off the shelf, just one at a time, usually. And it happens at the house. We keep our bread on top of the fridge, and it flies off the top of the fridge. However, this story could actually spill over into what my mother had admitted doing regarding items on top of the fridge one day, which was to actually something had broken during that little tiff. For some reason, she decided she was going to slide everything off the side of the fridge, right into Tim's beer can, and right into his whiskey shot glass, which fell on the floor and broke. Tequila shot glass, yeah, whatever, a shot glass, okay. So whatever, I'd done a DC-8 session and I'd come up with an admission from my mother that it was she that had done that. Other than that, we don't really have a whole lot of movement. It's mostly touching here. And I'm able to hear them without the apparatus, so I don't really have to worry so much about conversing. You know, two-way conversation works great in the DC, and I can keep it, on recording for later as proof. But I do have on my SoundCloud, one of my 4 SoundCloud accounts, the others are for music. On one separate SoundCloud account, I have my EVPs. Some of the most relevant ones and important ones, like first and last names. I have Eric saying his name, Eric Stewart. I have quite a few of those, actually. I have my mother saying first, middle, and last, Isabel Nora Jones. That is on my SoundCloud. I have someone saying the last name Nichols that could possibly be Tim's father. And I've also got my friend Elena, the one I mentioned in chat about the whole, let's just forget about the whole shaving the legs thing. But I've known her since junior high school. Elena, my friend, her brother, I got him saying his first and last name as well, and that is Ken Crawford. And he also shot himself. He had married my other best friend. Of the three of us, we were kind of like three musketeers, me and Jackie and Elena. Jackie had married Elena's brother, Ken, and she was with him for 25 years and had some kids with him before he shot himself with her rifle. And Ken, being Elena's brother, Elena and I can talk about it, a little bit more often than Jackie wants to. Jackie's kind of fed up with him hanging around. She's got a new relationship and marriage to Tim Spencer, so she's happy in that and wants to be left alone by her, former husband who shot himself. She says he hangs around a little bit too much, and she wants for him to kind of knock it off. What would you say to someone like that? I'll distract him for you and keep him over here? I don't know. I've got plenty of ghosts over here already, but I knew Ken when I was a kid, when I was 14, for a short time, so he's familiar with who I am. He's been here. But I don't know if that's going to actually convince him. If you're talking about parapsychology and talking someone into, don't haunt this person or stay away from this, situation and whatnot, I'm kind of at a loss for that one.
We work at the best that we can to help bring peace between the living and those that have passed on. So that's kind of a tough one. As to,
yeah, I'm having a hard enough time trying to keep peace between myself and Eric lately.
Peace can only happen when it is an agreement between the two.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe there's a lack of that on his part because I'm being a little bit more or a little less understanding than I should be. But actually, I don't think I am. I've tried the understanding approach. He's still getting pissy. I've tried the, being pissy back approach. He gets more pissy, and I tried to tell him, it's not going to be very helpful to be negative all the time. And it doesn't help to tell even people that are living that, people are going to have their attitudes when they want to have their attitudes. Makes me wonder if, like, horoscopes and things like that still carry on past, like, what, until you get a new one? Until you come in under another sign? I've never really thought about that before now.
Wow, that's a great question.
I might have an answer for that one.
I'd be interested.
Okay, my theory. Okay, on that question that's presented is they feed. I won't say feed's the wrong word. They will take the emotion that is most easier to adapt to. And what's the most easiest one to adapt to? That's anger. Okay. The way to go around it and to eliminate it is you've got to cancel out everybody, and that's everybody that's within that living space that walks through that door. And my adage is always like this, because if somebody comes in angry into my place, my sister's a prime example. My residents get upset because she is angry all the time. She's not getting this. She's not getting that. It's not working her way. That is anger. Okay? Well, she hasn't. I pretty much banded her from the house because my residents, I don't like them when they get angry. They get very intrusive with my property.
Physical?
Yeah, physical. Well, like right now, I'm missing my voice recorder. It is totally MIA from the physical side of the world. I have torn my house upside down to try to find my voice recorder, and it's nowhere to be found.
Is it in your car?
Nope. Checked my car. And I only take one car in investigations, and that's my diesel. And
not under a seat or anything in between?
Nope. So
Bummer.
that went missing the last time she showed up. Now, I have to convey to them that the anger is gone. It's now been removed. Things have gotten peaceful around here to the point to where it's back to, i.e., the ideal situation with my residents. And my residents are very sensitive to that, especially Sam. Sam is my biggest tip-off. If you don't know about Sam, he's got a radio that I have to leave on 24/7, 365 days out of the year. If we turn it off, he comes out and he starts turning on and off stuff, and I don't like that. So I gave him a radio. I leave it on all the time. He stays in there. Nothing happens.
There you go.
Now, yeah, we do go in there. We talk to him. We give him the love and attention that he so well deserved before he passed that he didn't get due to his condition prior to passing. Oh my! I got a big boy overhead. The adage is they're just like kids. You've got to start off with boundaries. Once you get the boundaries set, and you got to alliterate on them over and over. No, you can't do this, but you can do this. Okay, you give them something that can't be destructive, like a loaf of bread. Okay.
I don't care about the bread flying off the fridge, actually, in a way, and it's just
It's funny how it happens, though.
I was going to ask too about, you were talking about the intrusive part, Hank. I was going to ask you about that VCR DVD combo you gave us. Did that DVD player skip quite a bit?
No,
before
but the
you
heads
gave it
might
to
need
us?
to be cleaned. No, but the heads might need to be cleaned by now.
Okay, because it seems to happen a little more often when there's
Wait a
music
minute,
playing.
are you saying the DVD or the VHS?
The DVD player.
Yeah, the DVD. Yeah, the
Literally
DVD.
trying to eat the CDs right now.
Yeah,
So
that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't. That's what I told Tim. Only
we had tried a cleaner
only
too
the
already.
VHS. Only the VHS is working.
It works to a point, but I mean, it works better some days than others. And I was wondering if it was impervious to any outside energies, or if it does absorb. Because it does run on a laser, on the premise of a laser mechanism.
And in this particular case, if you were recording with it, then I could see what you're talking about. I could see
No, but I would love to.
Issues.
Shoot, yeah, I want to get like a DVR system and plug it in and put it through there, but that's kind of a different setup. The ITC experiments that people have done with the camera pointing towards the television with the white noise with the fuzz going, and see if I can actually pick up some faces at some point. But the problem with that one is it's probably best to do that kind of an experiment in either a third-party area separate from your own home, or if you live alone and you don't care about something else, if you're the only one that's going to deal with the ramifications of opening up that amount of energies. I wouldn't think that I would do that in a home full of other people out of respect for them, because you never know what else is going to pop through it. Being that it is a wider portal, I would assume.
What is that background?
Dog?
And a dog.
Yeah. He's a donkey. Okay. Anyway, with everything, for me, greetings, Earthlings. Good Lord. For me, I do well enough with everything that I have to work with. Doing that with, doing that like you're suggesting, I go for it. The only thing I can say is I don't know. I would be curious about the results.
You mean, are you talking about the DVR experiment?
Yes.
I've actually done one already on a smaller scale with my laptop before, pointing my camera toward the screen and getting some pictures of the infinitive reflection. Actually can pick up a little bit. Works pretty well.
I mean, on
And
one
believe
hand,
it or
I
not,
can
the lower quality camera you have, the better ghost pics you can come up with sometimes, because it's going to be able to pick up the in-between rather than be continual. You know what I mean? If you have more pixels and a clearer, crisp picture, then you're going quick, quick snap, and you get what's actually right just then and there in the physical. If you've got a slower setting on a camera or a lower quality camera, and or a lower amount of pixels, you're going to get a little bit of stutter in the amount of timing that you have to capture an image from the inside out, from the ethereal. So it's going to be like dot, 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 dot. Oh, somewhere in between those dot, dots, you got something, from the other side.
It's no
I always
different
thought
than...
it's better to use lower quality stuff. Like, you actually get better radio quality voices than you would on, say, some fancy schmancy $300 recorder.
It's no different than working with white noise.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do, Hank, also with the, I've been thinking about this lately. On a quantum level, it's got to have something more to do with where they are located, on what levels and what planes. Because I've been taking into account the Dante's Inferno, the levels of hell, or, levels of heaven, or levels of existence, per se, one or the other, whatever you want to call it, however you want to refer to it.
Hey, everybody. We're live on
vibration.
WCJV Digital Broadcasting out of Youngstown, New York.
Bravo, Roger, you caught it. Usually I do.
I'm wondering if the vibrational patterns of particular emotions for each separate spirit at that time that they're feeling that particular feeling. You know how they have the binaural beats and the chakra stuff that's, the chakra meditations that are assigned accordingly to each particular amount of hertz on the sound wave scale, which is also the vibration of the spiritual spectrum.
I'm familiar with that.
It's going to be my guess on a quantum level that is going to correspond with whatever emotion is being conveyed by that particular entity at that particular time, and that's where those pockets are, and they remain. It's more like, when you get onto a merry-go-round and another person gets on the merry-go-round while it's going, they're each going to have their own separate spot, but it's still going to keep twirling until it stops, someone gets off and gets on at a different point, if that makes any sense. This could be why we can pick up some spirits that are on different frequencies than others. And it's not always going to be, this one is assigned to you forever. It's going to be, you're assigning yourself at this point in time with this particular specific emotion, and then what you could pop over to another, is like, a CB radio, you're just changing channels.
Given the topic of emotions, given the topic of emotion, that makes a lot of sense.
Really?
I'm being serious.
Oh, because I was just thinking I was maybe a little batshit crazy over that, but
no, on that
theory,
one, and no, that makes sense. That makes the when you talk about the emotional level, and that's where we're dealing with a lot of levels of hauntings. Do we have a good spirit? Do we have a bad spirit? Do we have someone who is just emotionally an emotional cripple? Intelligence and emotion.
Yeah. Would we be able to convey with sound fonts, sound vibrations, sound vibration healing like we would with the human body, because it's not necessarily the body it's a reactor, yeah, but it's not the actual force. The force that goes into the reactor, which would be the body, the force would be the spirit.
Okay, now I'm not so much spitballing, but making opinionated observations. Okay?
Mhm.
The basic law of physics, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It takes form and can be transferred and changed. But when you look at the idea of taking a more positive vibrational energy and directing it, or even filling it in your space, that's bound to make changes around you.
Just using yourself as a conduit rather than even worrying about all that is a good basis, then, is what you're saying?
As
Good start.
one idea. As one idea, yes. When Katie died, Katie was passing over. The people at Good Sam, she was a vet, she was a Navy, and they were telling, I loved how they were open-minded. They were telling us that let her listen to the music she likes, that she can identify with, because that the music creates that same tone, that same vibration, that same feeling, and the more positive and in tune with what she was is what helped her cross over. And I thought that was such an enlightened idea, given Good Sam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thoughts, guys? Cricket chirp. Anybody out there?
No.
Well,
no.
hey, how about space is not void? It's full of energy. Like you said, it cannot be either destroyed or, but there's infinite energy out there. And I kind of think that we all draw from it in our own way. People like Toby more so than maybe you and I, but I think that we do also. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, where do you, in Toby's case, for instance, he's a psychic medium, and there's other psychic mediums that are way more advanced than Hank, what you and I do. Do they have a mechanism maybe inside of them that allows them to pull more of this energy, this you know what I'm saying?
What makes them more in tune than you and I?
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like
Toby.
they have a bigger antenna than we do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, God, I'm so not touching that one. Bigger antenna.
Hey, I got a
Is anyone hearing that?
Oh, that was me squeaking it was me squeaking the chair. I
heard humming words, Hank. It might have been a good carriage for some sort of, I'm hearing something. It didn't sound like the squeak, if that's what it was, that you could hear on that end. I'm hearing something else coming through.
No, I didn't notice that. I apologize.
All right, my bad. We'll just keep an ear out. And moving on.
I'm still trying to figure out how do I got a bigger antenna.
Like I said, I'm not touching that.
Same here.
Okay,
It seems like spirits are like gravitated toward me ever since I was a kid. Why is that?
Get your mind out of the gutter, people.
Okay.
It's warmer in the gutter.
Well, if your mind's in the gutter, you have to come down a couple levels to meet mine.
He who has the gift is bestowed the gift. That's all it is.
Okay, but
He who has the gift also accepts the responsibility of that gift.
True. But what I'm getting at is everybody, and I really do believe that everybody has the ability to some point, but they don't use it, or they don't know they have it, or whatever. But some people, it's like they just automatically pick it up. And that's what I'm saying. Is there a mechanism in your brain, Toby, different from than, say, in mine and Hank's brain, where there's certain things that we are able to do and not do, whereas you do a lot of different things, okay?
Right.
You have a switch in your brain that clicks over and says, yeah, take this energy.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Hold on, Toby. I think
Yeah.
I think I've got a good way of explaining this. If you are open to it and you work with it, okay? Toby had been doing this, and he is gotten so much better with it. I started out basically just being a sensitive, and I've learned what it is to be a medium, and now I am growing from that. So it's not a matter of a bigger antenna. Does that make sense, Tobe?
Yeah, well, what I would like to really elaborate on that a little bit more.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, let's go back to day one, Hank. Okay, when I first met you, everybody was like, "Oh no, you're this," and yeah, I knew it, but I never really exercised it. Okay, the human brain, anybody in medical will tell you everybody's brain has the same components. There's no extra component. But they have done studies with psychic mediums and what they call the average person, and done brain waves, brain studies, MRI scans. The psychic medium brain is always constantly in gear. It's kicking out more signals than the average person, where when you're asleep, you hit that, correct me if I'm wrong, Hank, REMs.
Yes. Rapid eye movement.
Yeah, you get into that. By the way. Yeah, you get into. Well, I wish I knew what that was. You get into that stage. The average person gets at least 4 to 6 REMs per sleep period. The first two and the last two are the going into and coming out of. Well, the psychic medium has no REM in their brain. It is constantly kicking in and out material at a rapid pace. I mean, I could give you a prime example. I don't sleep. My sleep, if lucky, I would be blessed if I get more than 4 hours a day. Now,
I'm here.
You know, since 1999 until last year, 2 hours per day. Literally.
My record
now,
staying up is 96 with a half an hour cat nap sitting up. 4 days.
I won't top that, but that's because of military operations. The ability of the psychic medium is not just knowing they have it, it's how each and every psychic medium works the part of the brain that has the ability, which is basically it's a little portion in between the frontal and the middle part of the brain. It's a pea size. Everybody has it. But how do you work that? That's up to you. Can you do readings on it? Yes, but it's not going to teach you how to properly do it, because properly to do it is over time. You learn, you educate. When I first started out at the age of creepy crawly in my bunk, I saw people. I was talking to them, but it was, yeah, gotta go goo-goo as a baby. But mentally, yes, I was talking to them. Now, as time went on, it got deeper and deeper. Next, it went from just everyday talk to emotion. So I was confused at a point in my life to where I'm receiving emotions at such a rapid pace. I literally thought I was losing my mind. I was dang near close to the point of the brink of, I just need to get it out of my head. Well, okay. Once when I figured it out, it calmed down. Then it became the voices. The voices were just, the easiest way I could describe it for anybody to understand what a psychic medium hears. If they got the on and off switch to the ear, God bless them. I want to know what it is. It's like stepping inside a football stadium, sold out, not just the seats, but the floor, with a 10-foot circle around you and everybody talking at once. Okay? The average person will hear that, but they're only going to pull out the certain one that's stronger, that's different, that's unique, and they'll attract themselves to that. It took me not that long to figure that out. Now it's to the point to where I do communicate even with the weak ones, but to get validation for an individual on a one-on-one reading, it's got to be strong. It's got to be loud. Now a lot of people, and I work different. If anybody, Hank's been, he's seen me work. Laura hasn't, but Tim has. I work in a total different aspect. I give you topics that you only know, not what is up with the okay, let's do this.
What was that?
What's up with the proverbial picture that sits on hang on, I'm gonna pull it out of the air, on your nightstand? What's so important about it?
Who, me?
Well, I'm just in general. That's what a lot of psychic mediums do. Okay? It's not...
Oh, being too generic, you mean?
Yeah, it's not being
that's
generic.
the word.
Yeah, no, I love that show where they had that, was it John Edwards had guessed that there was a lady in the audience with a brick in her purse? That could have been a setup too, though, but you never know unless you're actually there and experience something like that for yourself. And I have. I've been able to pick out specifics, things that actually happened. There's no way I could have ever known because I never even knew this family. When the 7-year-old boy comes up to me and tells me he had a basketball in the hospital, I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, why would somebody bring a kid a basketball in the hospital when he's dying of a brain tumor? And I had told his mother, and she told me, there was a Seattle Supersonic that came and gave him an autographed basketball because he was dying of a brain tumor. It was a Make-A-Wish Foundation request. That was Kevin. He was 7 years old, an African-American young child that I knew was going to be dead in 2 weeks when his little sister, his big sister, came into the store, told me her little brother needed some children's Tylenol because of his headaches. She didn't explain what his headaches were about, but I knew instantly, and she walked up to my counter at the Circle K that he was going to be dead in 2 weeks, but I didn't say a word to her. Instead, I told Brooke, my son's girlfriend, and that was confirmed 2 weeks later by going out to the mailbox, picking up a paper, a free paper, the Auburn Reporter, and that was the only thing in the mail that day. I come inside and never read these things, never read them. Today, this particular day, I happened to read it. I happened to open it. I sat down, I opened directly to the obituaries and felt a touch on my elbow. Looked directly at the one obituary that was Kevin's, our neighbor in the D building, that I never even spoke to. And I could hear him. And he told me, "You can hear me?" I said, "Who just touched me? You felt that? You can hear me?" I said, "Is this Kevin?" He says, "Yes." And so I went into the bathroom, as I usually do, and the kids went in and got the little ones out of there as they were following me in there. "Come on, you guys need to get out of here. Mom needs to talk to one of her ghosts." Because they were so used to it, So I closed the door and I talked to Kevin for a little while, and I said, can you give me any specific information you'd like me to tell your mother? He said, I miss my trike and my Frisbee. And then I asked him, is there something else you'd like me to know that you could tell her that she would remember about you? And he says, tell her I liked the basketball game. And I thought, wait a minute. He said, I got a basketball. I said, do you mean like an electronic game, like a Nintendo Game Boy? He says, no, a real basketball. And it was at that point I told him that I would let his mother know the message, and then, you know, he missed them and the trike and blah, blah, blah. And I went over and had tried to find out what unit she was in, because I wasn't aware it was a big complex. All I knew was that the elder sister, the teenage daughter, was about 14, and she'd come into my store a few times, and I told her I recognized her from the complex. She was outside, the 14-year-old elder sister, and I had let her know respectfully and calmly that I am a medium, and I had a message from her little brother for her mother, and asked her if she believed in those things. She went up and told her mother. Her mother came to the third-story window and talked to me out the window. She said she was a Christian woman. She does understand that those things do happen, and she was open to the message. And I conveyed it to her from the ground to her third-story window, and we had that conversation in that manner. Came to find out a couple weeks later that these people had lived in the same apartment complex as my sister had at Lexington Downs 10 years prior. When that little girl was 4 years old, she was there when my niece Christina fell off the big joint and broke her hip. It was a permanent disability. She had she's got a permanent limp from that to this day. Christina does, my niece. And the girls, my daughters, knew this girl when she was young. They played together and didn't realize who she was. And they just so happened to show up 10 years later at another complex in a completely different city, from Federal Way to Auburn. Strange. I got stories upon stories, but, you know, it's almost 7 o'clock. So. People come at me that I've never met from other states that are involved with my family in roundabout manners, and I can hear them out loud, just like they're right next to me.
That's one thing I won't do is family.
That's pretty much mostly what I do, but not only.
For me personally, that's, how can I put, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that I can't do it.
Is it draining for you, emotionally draining?
No, there's a block on the other side.
Okay.
Literally, there, it's like a glass wall that's about 4 feet thick. All I could do is see movement of jaw, and I'm no lip reader. And if anybody's a lip reader, I want to meet them, because if you got hearing as well, you're in the wrong line of field. No, it's just there's a barrier on my family side that's not permitting me to discuss with past family members as much as I would love to.
Well, mine are open book more than I want them to be, so, you know, you always want what you don't got. You want what I got, and I want what you got right now. I would rather not know my mother's every thought. You know, I would rather her not know mine. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, yes, I would love to talk to my dad that has passed, that was considered not just my dad, but my best friend. Okay? Mm-hmm. I would love to talk to my grandpa. And I wouldn't dare call him grandpa, because I got slapped calling him grandpa. He would rather have been called Fuzzy, not grandpa. He was another mentor in my life. But, however, I think there's one thing that's kind of hindering it, and it's, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's, you know, it's the way of the world. Being into brought into a family instead of being with original is two different worlds. So I think that might have something to do with it. I don't know.
I have a hard time talking with my father because I miss him more. I don't mind, having a snarky conversation with my mother because she's still snarky on the other side, but I miss my daddy so much it tears me up.
Yeah.
To even try to talk with him, that tears me up that he's gone, and that's the main reason why I don't talk to him as much. You'd think that he would,
Well, I've had other mediums, okay, or so-called mediums. I won't say any names because if you're doing a self-claim, then you should be able to read me real quick. And I hate to say this, but my spirit guide has literally shut down a medium.
You broke your spirit guide?
No, my spirit guide.
My spirit guide. I don't know if I've got one at the moment myself.
She literally shut them down. She showed them things that I know I wouldn't want to bestow on anybody's eyes. But that's her nature. She's protecting me. Now, is there something about me that other mediums should not know? I honestly, I don't know. But I've always sought out for a medium to contact my dad, but apparently it's not going to happen.
Does he not want it? Is he putting up himself, do you think?
No, he's put up signs that he does want to talk to me. And what I mean by that is I was given things that were his that were supposed to be given to me only under the passing of my mom. But however, my mom was like, something's telling me I need to give it to you now, so I'm going to give it to you now.
Have you ever tried Danny Big Beard Spirit Echovox droid app? They're amazing.
I have gone as far as to use rods, and no answer.
I was wondering if you've tried the Echovox droid app. Do you have a droid device?
Actually, I have EchoVox.
Yeah, Roger
You have
does.
Echovox?
And
Do you
I
have Danny Big Beard Daniel Bears in your friends list, Roger?
Pardon?
Do you have a Danny Roberts, a.k.a. Danny Big Beard, in your friends list, the creator of the app?
Yes, I do.
He is quite a character, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And also Gabriel Knight, who is a good friend of mine, also uses the EchoVox.
Yeah, it's sad that we just recently lost Frank Sumption. But
Yeah.
amazing that I'd gotten EVP from him the same day.
Wow.
Some people thought it was too soon. I'm like, why? That's what the man did. So
Well, yeah.
it was his life to talk to the dead. You'd think you wanted to try it out as soon as he could when he got there.
And he invented the ghost box, right? So what better way to prove that it works than to come back as soon as he's gone and say, "Hey, I'm here."
Frank's box, yeah. Frank's box or Shack Hack, yeah, those were okay. But I mean, he was doing some other research too, as well, with the fact that you can record EVP with Audacity and a microphone onto your computer, and then he was showing that there was a spectral view that you could actually pick up visuals. Some may actually chalk up to pareidolia, sure, but some of them can't be explained away either.
I tried an experiment with the Echo Box and a white noise program at the same time on my phone hooked up through a PA system, and we got some amazing results like that.
Yeah, I love to see those. I want a droid so bad, but the finances won't adhere, for the time being until I can get my own income source going. That's probably one of the things I'd like to try out pretty soon.
Okay, folks, I hate to do this, but we are coming up on the 3-minute mark, and anybody in the chat room wishing to put out some links, your pages, whatnot, whatever, you may do so.
I'm so glad we have this time together.
right. What show was that from?
Oh.
Carol Burnett. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Thank
Carol
you,
Burnett.
Hank. How did I know you'd be the first to get that? You're a man,
hey,
you.
Some of us are a little
I'm old and
psychotic.
slow. What can I
Didn't
say?
jump in there though, Tim. Hank got it. Hank wins. He gets the cookie. Just this time.
I got some chocolate chip for you, little girl. Oh.
All right, peanut butter snickerdoodle over here is the main one. If you don't like it, lump it.
Johnny said, grabbing my earlobe.
Oh boy.
I missed my good buddy, His Eminence Bo Jerkhart, calling in tonight. You know, we always look forward to that. So maybe he'll call in next week, and we are going to have to get ready to shut this thing down. It's been a blast, and we want to thank you for calling in and sharing your stuff with us.
You're welcome. And if you guys want to find any of my EVPs, you can find them at that link I'm about to post at www.soundcloud.com/para-music, MEWZIK.
Awesome.
Listen here just a second, test the link and make sure that's the right one.
Okay, people, it's been really, truly enjoyable. Thanks everybody in the chat room for chiming in, and everybody that voted for us.
We love y'all. We appreciate you being here.
For having us.
And if you can't be normal,
Be
paranormal.
We'll see you guys next week.
Y'all take care. Brightest blessings.
Some people call me a big phony. Yeah. Some call me a prankster and fraud. Some people call me both speak. But you see, I've been doing this so long. People say my shots are crappy. Say they need to see them like I need a comb. Never invited to investigate anywhere. So I do my investigations all around my home. Because I figure I could be thinner. There's an ET, but my cat wants dinner. I want attention, but I get none. I'm a loafer. I'm a hoaxer. An emotional roller coaster. I need to harass everyone. Ooh. My pictures are the fakest that you ever did see. My footage is so fraudulent, it'll make you scream. Copy, cut, copy, photoshopping all the time. Try to keep a straight face when I say it's genuine. Because I figure I could be thinner. ET's in my backyard, but my cat wants dinner. I want attention, but I get none. I'm all over. I'm a hoaxer. An emotional roller coaster. I need to harass everyone. Ooh. say I'm doing paranormal wrong. But don't worry. No, don't you worry, none. Oh, wait a minute, who am I kidding? Yeah, they got me on this one. Yeah. My pictures are the fakest you ever did see. My footage is so fraudulent, it'll make you scream. Copy, photoshopping all the time. And believe me when I tell you it's all genuine.